If you're looking for intellectual, informed basketball takes and you want to bring in media that knows what they're talking about, look no further than
never early, never late, but we always push the pace, yeah. And we really study tape, y'all just view the highlights, man, we really watching games, yeah. You just watch from the stands, we run 3-man weeks, Paul, Trey, and Allen, yeah. Way more than a fan, we got love for the game, we don't have to pretend. Got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. I'm the run the fast break, throw me the outlet. Yeah, we got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. Time to run the fast break, throw me the outlet. We on the break, it's fast break. We on the break, it's fast break. Let's go.
Yo.
It's fast break, let's go.
What up, party people? Back again at our new time. Welcome to another audio adventure on this fine Friday evening, prime time. We are now a prime time pod. Coming here to give you this content right before the NBA package Friday nights. We got a good episode for you for our first episode in this new time slot. You know my name, you know who I am, you know what I do. I'll go by Rhoda, hostess with the mostest, and you know this. Flatbush. Joining me, the sturdy one, Mr. Consistent, the big man in the middle, the author, America's favorite Haitian uncle, King Dre Sock Posse.
Let's get it.
And rounding out the 3-man panel tonight, we have the professional, the architect. We call him Morpheus, Alan, the man with the play.
What's good?
Big Jersey.
Big Jersey.
We are a little ensemble that goes by the moniker Fast Breaks. Can I get a rebound, please?
Come on.
Outlet. Bow.
And my break star is on gold, by the way. My break star is on gold. I said my break star is on gold, by the way. Gotta let that know. Gotta let that be known.
Okay. Anyway. So for our first segment, we have Game of the Week for you. We actually did pick a Game of the Week this week.
Let's get it. We're getting better every week, y'all. Every week.
We locked into Pistons Celtics on Monday. A nail biter of a game. Let me just cue that up for you both, and then let me hear your thoughts. So in that game, we saw big performances from Cade and Jaylen Brown, of course. Cade Cunningham had 32 points and 10 rebounds, and the Pistons beat the Celtics 112-105 on Monday night. Jaylen Brown had 34, 8, and 7. Tobias Harris also chipped in with 7 rebounds and 13 points, hit some big shots down the stretch. Karis LeVert, 13 points, Jaden Ivey, 10 points. On the Celtics side, sneakily Derek White chipped in 31 points, going 5 of 12 from the 3. Peyton Pritchard only 5 of 14 from the field with 12 points. The Celtics had a chance to potentially tie or take the lead late in the 4th. That shot was missed. And, the Pistons wrapped it up with some free throws. Dre, I'm going to go to you first.
Sure.
What did you see in this game? Break this game down for you, because as you know, Game of the Week is a segment where we not tell people what the best game of the week was, but we pick a game each week to break down and provide that basketball nerd talk, that X's and O's talk that is so sparse in the industry. So, Dre, break it down for us.
So I just want to start by saying this is probably one of the better games to watch this season from a defensive standpoint, right? These were two teams that came in fully prepared, not only to take out the best player on the team, Jaylen Brown and Cade Cunningham, respectively, but they came in with a plan that was complementary to accelerating offense. So what I mean by that is they were full exploitation, right? They weren't just looking at where we could get our spots, what we usually do. And that's one of the more obvious parts of it, or more of the more obvious examples of that in the game is how Tobias Harris played, because he was really, really able to get that midi fadeaway off from pretty much everywhere in the field. He really used his size. He comes in a way, and they were taking advantage of it, right? They were taking advantage of the fact that they were packing the paint. They were giving the Celtics, Detroit I'm talking about, they were giving the Celtics a lot of threes to hit. And I know the Celtics generally take a number of threes. That's kind of what they do. But they were letting them shoot a number of threes, and they were hitting them respectively, oh my God. Derek White, obviously, he's a sniper. He's hitting his shots. But they were like, I think with a team like Detroit, they came in prepared to see the Celtics live and die by the three. And that's essentially what happened last. They only lost by a point, and not in any small part because of the heroics of Jaylen Brown. But, the team itself, both teams themselves, really matched up evenly. I thought there was a lot of nice matchup hunting going on. And one thing that was also very interesting to watch, Cade Cunningham, I think he did a better job in the third quarter and the fourth quarter of really getting to his spots and hitting shots. But he struggled in the first and second, and that was because Jaylen Brown was clamping. He came in with, I'm going to clamp you up. I don't plan on making it easy for you. And it's something I haven't seen a lot of teams do on Cade that often, right? Cade should be being guarded by your best perimeter player in every single game, because he is 6'6". Actually, he might be 6'8". I don't know. He's a big boy, and he knows how to get to his spot. He knows how to get He knows how to get to his spots. He knows how to get to the mid-range. He knows how to get to the cup. So when you get a guy like Jaylen Brown that's like really keeping him uncomfortable, and you got to keep him at the perimeter, I don't know that Cade goes off as much as he does. Obviously, that changed. But all that being said, the fact that Detroit could stay pretty much ahead the entire time with their best player struggling says a lot, again, about their defense. It doesn't really matter necessarily if we are having defensive or we're having offensive struggles. We're still going to shoot the ball at a high clip, and then we're going to clamp you up on the other end. And the only thing I would say for the Celtics, honestly, maybe they're one or two pieces away from really, really being dangerous. But I actually am very worried now if Jason Tatum comes back, because that team looks a lot better than I thought they were.
All right, thank you for that, Alan. I'm gonna hop over you. Pause real quick, just because I want to give my take. Just because I had a little bit of a different takeaway and perspective on that game, so I want to engage with Dre a little bit. I thought that actually what happened in that game was there were two different game plans, and in the first quarter, the Pistons game plan seemed to be not viable, and the Celtics game plan appeared to be incredibly beneficial. And I think both teams then doubled down and committed to those game plans. And I think over time, actually, the Pistons game plan came out on top, and the Celtics game plan fizzled out, because I think the Pistons game plan was accurate in terms of what you are looking to do against this Celtics roster, whereas I think the Boston game plan looked really good, but I think Cade actually his style this year is catered towards what they were trying to do with him. So what do I mean by all that? That was a lot of flowery language, right? Yeah. So what do I mean by all that? I wanted to give. I did a little bit of Iraq. I wanted to or a Kriak, I should say. I wanted to give my conclusion, and then I'll break it down.
This guy's giving a
traumatizing me. PTSD.
Yeah. So I wanted to give my conclusion and then break it down. So by the initial game plans, what I saw is in the first quarter, the Pistons went straight up with Jaylen Brown. They weren't sending a double. They weren't. I could tell they were shading him to the basket more than jumpers because his jumper was going early. He was hitting his bump fades and his one dribble pull-ups going left. And I saw they were trying to force him right to contact with help rotation at the rim, and they were trying to meet him there physically. In the first quarter, that looked fatal because not only was he hitting his jump shot, he was finishing through contact. So in the first quarter, he came out and he had 10 points. He was 4 of 6 from the field, all twos, right? And then for the rest of everyone else, they were only packing the paint on his drives. They were playing straight up, and then if the primary defender got beat, they were packing the paint on his drive. And like you said, Dre, they were daring the Celtics to shoot. Where I disagree with you is, again, to my overall thesis, that worked well in the first quarter. Payne Pritchard hits 2 threes. Derek White hits a 3. Hugo hits a 3. In the first quarter, they go 5 of 11 for 3. They jump out to a fairly nice lead on the Pistons because you got Jaylen Brown going and you got the shooters hitting. That looks like the Celtics are clicking on all cylinders, and this game plan is stupid. On the other side, for Cade, they were kind of doing the opposite. They were shading him on the catch. They were shading him on the catch. They were going over with a hard hedge on the screens, and they were packing the paint on his penetration off the first dribble, right? Which was a little different than what the Pistons were doing. They were flooding the paint once he got below free throw line. Jaylen Brown, I mean, for Cade, they were flooding the paint as soon as he took a dribble, right? So he was surrounded by bodies from the catch, even bringing it up the floor. So what Cade resorted to do was he was trying to take what the defense gives him and read it and kind of pick it apart, which again, I said is the sort of new element to his game that I think he's added this year, being a 20 and 10 guy. So in the first quarter, yes, he only puts up 4 shots and he gets to the free throw line twice and goes 2 of 4. So you're looking at 6 points and you're like, he's not playing that well, but he had 4 assists. So overall in the quarter, he's getting off to a start that is reading what they're trying to do to him very well, right? And he gets his guys some good buckets. Jalen Duren gets some buckets. Duncan Robinson gets a 3 off. Ron Holland Jr. gets a 3 off. And Tobias Harris gets a bunch of good looks. Now, he didn't make all of them, but you like the looks he's getting, right?
Sorry, just to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
As I've always said, I think any team that has a swingman like Tobias Harris, it is so crucial, so incredibly crucial that you get him going early.
Shots early. Yes, exactly.
Got to get him warmed up early, and you got to see him take advantage, especially when Tobias Harris is 6'9". I don't think people realize he's big. He's a big guy, all right? He's not like, you're not going to push him around. Once he gets comfortable hitting that fade, it's very, very difficult to stop.
So again, what I've described, the first quarter, it looks like these two plans are one is clearly winning and one is clearly not. Right. But over time, this is why I feel like they didn't play out for them, because I think the problem for the Celtics then is their offensive approach became completely determined on Jaylen Brown. Right. They didn't have motion. They didn't have the ball moving. They didn't have penetration. They had no other offensive thrust other than Jaylen Brown's production by either shooting or driving and kicking. So in the second quarter, when he comes out, their offense low-key falls apart. They go 0 of 8 from 3. Now, he came back in towards the end and had his 8 points going 4 of 7. But to start that quarter, they let the Pistons get close to right back in it because they weren't hitting anything. Cade again stays steady, 7 points in that quarter. He goes 3 of 6, 1 of 1. You see, the thing I'm highlighting here with his stats is reads, shot selection, 3 of 6, 1 of 1. He's taking what the defense gives him. He has another 3 assists in the second quarter, right? So now he's finishing the first half with damn near a double-double already. He has 11 points, 9 assists, right? And in that corner, Jaden Ivey gets another 5 points. Isaiah Stewart gets some points. Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren, Duncan Robinson. They're staying relatively close, and they actually outscore the Celtics in that quarter, 20-24. The Celtics still look in charge, but only because Jaylen Brown came back in relatively early. He played damn near 10 minutes in that quarter, and he sort of continued what he did. So he finishes the first half with like 20, and it looks like he's going to have a 50-point night and ride away with it. But again, what happened is that trend continued to exacerbate over time. So you go to quarter three, the Pistons outscore the Celtics 32-24. The Celtics once again go 1 of 10 from 3. Jaylen Brown has 9 points, but now he's struggling because they're playing really high up, taking away his jumpers and middies. So now he's solely relying on his drives, and they're meeting him with physicality at the rim, and he wasn't getting a ton of calls. He only went to the free throw line once, and then overall he went he went a couple times, but he went 3 of 7. He missed both his threes, and he went 3 of 9 overall from the field. He still got his 9 points, but in a much less efficient way. Everyone else, struggled. No one else really hit a shot other than Derek White, who kind of got going late towards the end of the third. He put in his 9 points, and, he sort of was plugging along. But again, 1 of 10 from 3. Meanwhile, Cade, he then begins to pick his spots more aggressively now that everyone on the team is sort of, again, not hot, but, is sort of, they're outpacing the Celtics. So the Celtics defense loosens up, and he immediately responds to that. He has a 10-point quarter. He goes 2 of 4 from the floor, but 2 of those are threes. He's able to find his threes, and he gets to the free throw line. So, again, there was no quarter where you felt like Cade went crazy per se, but he's basically averaging, and again, in that quarter, he had 2 assists. So he's basically averaging 6 to 8 points and 2 to 4 assists a quarter, just making the right reads and getting it done. So when he ends with 32 and 10, you almost look up and you're like, whoa, when did that happen? Well, he was just doing his work, being efficient and making reads the entire time because they kind of were throwing the same lick at him. And I've noticed that this is what he does. He's kind of got that Chris Paul style, to harken back to what I said, where he loosens the defense up with his pass, conserves his energy, and then as the game wanes, he then begins to kill you because he's been looking at the same coverages for 3 quarters, and he identifies where he can get his spots and where he can get his shots, right? And then the fourth quarter, so the Pistons fully catch up at that point. You go into the fourth quarter, and that's when the prophecy fully plays out. The Celtics are able to stay somewhat close because they go 4 of 10 from 3 this time. And Derek White goes crazy for 14 points. Jaylen Brown finally gets some help, but Jaylen Brown gets locked up that quarter. He only gets up 3 shots in the fourth quarter, despite playing 9 minutes. He goes 2 of 3, and it's solid. But if it wasn't for Derek White getting loose, they get blown out to end the game. Meanwhile, on the other side, Cade has 9 points. He gets 2 more assists. He goes 4 of 7, and everyone chips in. All-Star had a bucket. Tobias Harris had a huge bucket. Stu had a bucket. Karis LeVert had a bucket, and Javonte Green had a bucket. And they outscored the Celtics 27-24. So while I overall agree with you that it was a defensive game, I think the takeaway of the story is that I think the Celtics were taught a really good lesson that Cade is a true 2010 guy who you can't show the same thing to the whole game, which means you can shade him and flood him and high help and double him early, sure, if you don't want to let him get off going early, but you have to mix it up because he will eventually Floyd Mayweather analyze you, break you down, find the counter punches, and figure it out so that he gets enough from his guys, because no one else on the Pistons really went crazy, but he got just enough from his guys. And then he still, by the end of the game, has hit you over the head with 32 with timely buckets at that right? And and for the Pistons, they've sort of not exposed the Celtics, but to your point about they're scared Jason Tatum comes back, the Pistons kind of have exhibited what the Celtics problem will be in the playoffs, which is, again, one guy can't beat you. So no matter how crazy Jaylen Brown goes, which compared to some of the games he has, this game wasn't crazy. 34 is kind of a light day for him, but it started quickly. 34 points, and he had 7 assists as well. Their style, and if they're not hitting their threes, you will eventually outpace them. It may take time. They may start out with a lead, but if they don't have any rhythm and flow other than Jaylen Brown, eventually you will outpace them. Again, the only reason they were close is because Derek White caught fire late, but he was 5 of 12 from 3. A lot of that happened in the third and fourth quarter. So I thought it was a great game of exhibiting coaching and game planning.
No, agreed with the coaching. That's where
Pistons and Celtics have played a couple times this year. I forget the split, but I don't know if the Celtics have got the Pistons yet. I know in a prior game earlier in the season, the Celtics lost with on a potential game winner at the buzzer by Jaylen Brown that he missed.
Right.
And
which is what happened again this game too, by the way.
Right. So I think that is what we are seeing with this matchup is that the Pistons are a little bit more of a well-oiled machine than the Celtics.
Oh, for sure.
They will close. The only part I disagree with you, I think you were giving a little too much credit for the score and the Celtics hanging in there. I thought actually the Celtics really didn't play that great of a game on both ends.
See,
Jaylen Brown carried, and I think they got lucky that Derek White was able to get off in the second half to keep it close. Because if you're in the real time when you're watching the game, they jumped out, and then that lead got erased, and then they would have completely lost control of it had not Derek White kicked up in the second half to keep them within.
I agree with that in part.
So in the whole second half, I never really felt like the Celtics were going to win. That's kind of why I disagree with you. The whole second half, I never really felt like the Celtics were going to win. They were making enough shots to stay in there, but I didn't see them playing well in the same way that the Pistons continue to kind of play better and better and better each quarter.
See, so and Alan, I'm going to kick it to you. Well, Pharaoh's going to kick it to you, but I just want to just to top it off here, right? To your point. I see what you're saying, but I can't fully get on board with that only because the Celtics only lost by 1 point, right? And
no, so not this game. Not this game. They lost 112 to 107.
No, they didn't. It was 103 to 104.
Yeah, I think it was 1 point. 103 to 104.
Only 1 point.
I'm okay.
Am I tripping, bro?
Yeah. I watched this live, guy. What you mean?
Oh, yeah, you're right. My fault.
So and that goes to two big Celtic points, right?
That was the third game. So again, so also that they have not beat the Pistons yet.
Right. And this is the big thing, right? The Celtics, number one, they do game plan for Derek White to go crazy in the fourth. And it's something they've been sneakily doing for years at this point. I'm never surprised when I see Derek White hitting threes, crazy threes in the fourth quarter. I almost feel like they're like, yo, chill a little bit, go off. Because this is what I've seen him do it against the Knicks. I've seen him do it against a number of teams. And honestly, when Jason Tatum went down in the playoffs last year, I saw him do it a little bit more. So you get a little bit more of that with him. But the reason why I'm telling you why they are still a problem, they lose by 1, right? All of that like planning goes out the window when the guy that right now the main guy on the Celtics, obviously Jaylen Brown, he's a little bit more, how should I say it? You can game plan for a little bit more for him, right? Because he's not a prolific 3-point shooter. Eventually, he is going to rely on. He is going to rely on the. He's eventually going to rely on his drive. He's not a prolific passer. All that goes out the window when you get Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is not only a top 5 player in this team in this league, but he's demonstrated time and time again he's not someone you can quite so easily game plan for. Right, and
I agree, but I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I agree that they are dangerous. They get him
correct.
I think
that's what I mean.
Against real contenders like the Pistons, you see where only having Jaylen Brown hamstrings them.
Agreed.
Right?
No, of course, and that's where I think people. And I think the biggest takeaway, and I wish Paul was here to say it for me to say this. Jaylen Brown's not there yet. I hate to put it like that, and I know that's a crazy thing to say.
Is it that, or do they just not have enough? Is it that, or do they just not have enough?
They don't have enough. They don't have enough. But clutch moment, you take a three. There is no reason you should have missed that three.
I mean,
not everything's gonna go in.
I know not everything's gonna go in. But like the best players in the world, and the fact that we're giving him that nod right now is like, oh, not everything's gonna win. We don't say that about the top players in the league.
When but think about it this way. Think about it this way.
Yeah.
Think about it this way. You get a game where Cade, if you want to focus on shooting percentage, technically struggles, although he had crazy.
He did struggle.
Yeah, although he had crazy amounts of assists, right? You get a game like that. And it takes all the effort of Jaylen Brown, even to the point of having to try to win it on a game-winning shot just to get the win.
Right.
I would frame that not as Jaylen Brown not getting it done, but like with the current talent on this roster, it requires all of that for them to get a win over a top seed whose star doesn't shoot well. Like,
but
if you're able to defend Cade to that level where he's not as much of a scoring threat. Yes, Tobias Harris kicked up, Derlin played well, but like with the talented roster, you would have enough to handle this game sufficiently that it wouldn't even have to come down to a game-winning shot. So the fact that they almost had to win this by the skin of their teeth with a game-winning shot, I think actually speaks more to the lack of talent, not Jaylen Brown's ability to get it done.
See, but here's the thing. I understand why we're so willing to be like, the Celtics are lacking talent. And for a lot of ways that might seem true. But obviously, Jason Tatum's out. Drew Holiday is gone. Kristaps Porzingis is gone, right? They still retain most of their roster from last season, right? And they're number 2 in the
That's not true at all. That's not true at all, Dre.
What's not true about that?
The one starter left.
They lost. The
whole starting five was gone.
They lost 2 starters and a third player who often started.
Who's the third?
They lost Drew Holiday, Al Horford, and Kristaps Porzingis, brother.
I forgot about Al
Tatum.
Horford and Jason Tatum. You're right.
This is not the same team whatsoever.
It's a whole different starting five.
Yeah, that's true.
Sam Hauser's playing 28 minutes a game.
That's true.
That's crazy. Peyton Pritchard's now playing 30. Peyton Pritchard's now playing 33 minutes a game.
I feel like he was playing high 20s last season.
It's still
last season.
It's still a difference. It's a difference. I mean, the easiest comparison I can make is look what happened to Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Even you could be a starter, asked to contribute a lot, and a slight bump up in your role can be taxing. Austin's body literally crapped out on him this season because he went from a third option workload in minutes to second option, many nights first option workload in minutes. So you're now putting second option some nights on Peyton Pritchard or Derek White. That's very different. Having Derek White as your fourth option is scary. Having Derek White as your second option on your team as a team defense, I'm not like that's deal withable. You know what I mean? Like,
That's fair.
To think that on a swing, the person whose hands the ball is landing in is Derek White is terrifying, right? Derek White with the ball in front of our whole defense with all our eyes on him.
I don't know. I feel like you're just respecting Derek White a little bit.
Not at all. It's just there's levels.
I feel what he's saying.
Here's what I'm saying. Like Derek White is a B+ player, right? If we want to do grades, having a B+ player as a role player is an incredible advantage because that means on the execution of plays, not the initiation, on the execution of plays, you have an above average player doing them. That's what's scary. At the end of a possession or in the middle of possession, like when I come down on defense at my full energy, I'm ready to deal with what's in front of me. We all know as possessions wane and you've rotated or switched or run through 3 or 4 screens already, maybe there was an offensive rebound you're trying to get and now you're on a run out to a kick out. So at the time in a possession when you're most vulnerable, typically the ball is in the possession of limited skill role players and you just got to get the stop unless they're a sniper, right? Mm-hmm. But you're dealing with the super high skill players typically in the beginning of possessions when you're most energized. So the idea of like when I am my most vulnerable in a defensive possession, the ball is now in the hands of an above average NBA player.
Right.
Like on a kick out from an offensive rebound, the ball is in the hands of a guy who can blow by me and do a pullback step back jumper. Like you know what I mean? like that's
a little different.
That's different. Now, when the guy whose best move is only a pump fake, pullback, step back jumper starts the possession with the ball, that's different. I know what your bag is. You have 3 or 4 pep moves that are high level, but I know that's all you can get to. So when the possession starts and you get the ball, I'm on that. I'm on those exact things that you do, and you don't have counters, and your bag doesn't go that deep. You see what I'm saying?
No, I hear you.
But let Alan chime in here so we can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the takeaway I have from the game is, number one, I think to me that game was like a coach's like dream. I'm saying coach.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, yeah.
I mean, like a little in Jersey we have bitty basketball, which is like the little league level. That's like a bitty basketball coach's dream, like a middle school coach's dream, because much like y'all said, I think Fairmeyer just said this. Cade Cunningham didn't score great. He didn't have a good shooting night. None of the Pistons did, actually. If you look at the Pistons shooting numbers, I don't think they shot the ball great.
I don't know if we can say that about Tobias. Tobias was going crazy.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as a team in general.
Yeah,
I don't think they really shot the ball.
He was. I agree.
Yeah. So
they only shot 43% from the field.
Yeah, that's not great.
The Celtics shot 39% from the field. Like it was.
It's a defensive game. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. They were game planning for each other a lot.
Yeah, but that goes into my points about to be is.
Let him go.
Yeah, but that goes into what my points about to be is. I give all the credit in the world to the Pistons for that game because they didn't shoot the ball well, but they didn't turn the ball over. Cade had 14 assists with 0 turnovers. We don't see a kind of stat line like that no more.
Picking them apart, bro.
We don't see that no more. We don't see that no more. That's a very rare thing, and I think that should be.
That's because Tyrese isn't in the league right now. That's why.
Yeah, but even then, that's only 2 people that could do that. That's a very rare thing. We gotta applaud that. But like, also the Pistons in general, I think they had 8 turnovers for the game. I don't think anybody on the team had more than just 3 turnovers, maybe even 2. So my point about that is the Pistons. I think we talked about this last time. Their whole identity is being hard-nosed on the defensive end.
Right.
That was a great example of just playing hard defense can put you in positions to win the game. Because like we said, they did not score well. But what they did do is they blocked shots, they got rebounds, they created advantages for themselves by getting rebounds, pushing the floor, and getting easy buckets. That's a great way to get a win when you're not shooting well. You can still put yourself in position.
Right.
To piggyback off of what y'all were talking about, another great thing that they did is the Celtics for the last 2-3 years, whatever the whole Missoula era is, under this whole Missoula era, their bread and butter has been. This
is only his 3rd year, if I'm not mistaken.
This is only his 3rd year.
That's kind of
no. This might be 4th.
So the Ime coached them when they were in the finals against the Warriors in 23, right?
22.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, 22.
22. Did he have one more season with them, or did the thing that happened with him happen that summer?
I think that happened next summer. Either the summer or the
beginning of the season.
Are we sure? Because I feel like he still coached them when Jason Tatum turned his ankle in that Game 7 versus Milwaukee in 23.
Yeah, this is his 4th season as the Boston Celtics head coach. So
yeah, I mean it don't matter from my point, but whatever this Missoula era has been, their bread and butter has been penetrating and kicking out to 3. What I like what the Detroit Pistons did in this game is they did not overhelp. They seemed to have a game plan of like not going overboard on that. They didn't overhelp. They kind of like challenged the Celtics that we're just going to guard our one-on-one. We believe in our guys. And if you score, you score. but y'all gonna have to score on us. You're not just gonna get all these open threes. You know what I mean? And it worked. It worked because the Celtics did not shoot that great. Jaylen Brown, as great a scorer as he's been all season, he struggled to score the bar at certain times. I think he had 38, but it was on like, if you have the stats in front of you, I'm pretty sure it was on like 28 shooting. If that's correct, Pharaoh?
Yeah.
Very high clip. Very high clip.
38 points on 28 shooting is not great numbers. And I think to me that comes from their defense, bro. So when you do that, you put yourself in positions to win. You create an advantage for yourself. And that's what really good teams do. If I'm the Pistons, to me, that win is a huge confidence builder.
Yeah.
Because like now, if we're doing this against the Celtics, which one of y'all out here could really, really stop us when we're on our game? Because
I got a couple teams I might be able to answer them. But
I think it all depends if Jalen Duren can give you 20 to 25 on a given night when he needs to. Because the Duncan Robinsons and the Tobias Harris is probably good for 13 to 18 in the playoffs. Duncan Robinson may or may not make his shots. Cade's going to give you 30 plus and 10 assists. If Jalen Duren can be a dependable another 20 and 10 guy and get you 20 points, 10 rebounds every night in the playoffs, they're a problem because you got a small big you got a small big combo to deal with.
They are a problem. And to me, I think I know what you're saying. I mean, you can name a couple of teams, but my point is, I don't think they feel that way. I feel like they don't feel like you can just name things. I feel like it was a confidence builder for them. And as a young team like that, who's having this early success, or you're trying to get to the next level, that's huge. So
that's what you need to see right now.
Well, let's use that as a segue because if you look at the Pistons, they haven't lost to any of the other top seeds in their conference to date. Speaking of which, Dre, I know one of the teams you dare not say is a team that could beat them in the playoffs is the Knicks. And let's transition to that because, and let's make this the shortest one because our next two probably we have a lot to say about them. Knicks in turmoil. Dre, answer for yourself. The Knicks have lost. The Knicks have lost 9 of their past 12. Their sole win in recent memory, a blowout versus the Nets, which, Alan, you can't even be mad about. Your team is debatably a professional basketball team.
That's
and
crazy.
Y'all had a little players meeting. Y'all had a little players only meeting. Y'all had a little players only meeting, and y'all came out and did that to the Brooklyn Nets, and we're all hyped. Let's see what y'all do on Saturday versus the 76ers, who have been playing pretty good basketball. But otherwise, losing 9 of your last 12, answer for that, Mr. Cup champion.
I mean, number one, our best player is injured. I don't know how we can get
how many games of the 12 did he miss? How many games of the 12 did he miss?
12, I think at least 6.
Bugging.
I'm bugging.
I think he might have missed like 3. I don't know.
He missed like 3 games, bro.
He did not miss. I'm gonna pull up the numbers right now. But either way,
listen, man. The Knicks only get up to play the Nets.
That's not true. That's not true. We want a whole
brother. Answer for it. Answer for it. You have a platform. You be big Knicks on this platform. We have videos going viral of you talking about the Knicks.
Sure.
Answer for our algorithm and our subscribers. What the hell is going on with that team?
Listen, man. Listen. We are having some serious chemistry problems that should not be happening right now. I think there are some egos that are flaring at the moment. I think there are some zesty attitudes going around that need to be quelched.
Wow. Come on, man.
I think we got guys that are low key. I feel like that cup made a lot of guys feel like we were a little bit more untouchable than we are, and I think we had it going in the opposite direction. It doesn't help that every time that we mess up, people that are a little bit more sensitive that are on the team are hearing the news and they go out and play that.
Put some names on these bullets, man.
I rather
Me
not.
and Alan can't deal with your backhanded shade that you always do. Somebody and some people's and some persons.
Some names. Listen, man. We as a team, going as the 76ers is going to be great because it's going to be after, first and foremost, everyone's healthy, so everyone's going to be there. But I think one of the biggest things right now with the trade deadline approaching and people getting a little sensitive about who's going to stay on the team, who's doing this, who's doing that. I think it's very easy to see that the team's really not focused right now. And our best players are not focused right now. And it's hard to win basketball games when you can't even slide your feet. It's hard to win basketball games when you're not.
Why are your best players not focused?
Why are our best? Because
I'm not letting you slide. I'm not letting you slide out of this topic easy, bro.
One of our
reporter mode right now.
What is
going on?
One of our best. We're not focused. One of our best players might be getting traded. That's why.
You are abdicating your responsibility on this platform and hiding behind your fandom bias. I want you to truly report on what you observe with this NBA basketball team, like the fast breaker that you are.
Let me tell you something.
You are giving me team executive answers right now.
Correct.
I don't want team executive answers. I want hot take Dre. Tell me what's going on with the Knicks.
Karl-Anthony Towns needs to get traded. That's what's going on here.
Whoa.
He does not shape up.
Here we go.
If he doesn't shape up, Karl-Anthony Towns needs to get traded. And you know what? I'm grateful for everything Karl-Anthony Towns has done for us over the last year. I really am. I thought last year he was the second best center in the league. But this season, we're seeing a lot of those bad habits that Jimmy Butler was telling us about, that a number of players were telling us about. Don't clip that. Don't clip that.
We are definitely
Awesome. We're bugging out listening to this.
That's crazy. Paul's like, what? He's in the barbershop right now. Just he can't say it. We're never trading Julius Randle back. Here's the thing. Here's the problem. People say things that don't need to be said. Talking about Julius Randle. Julius Randle was ass. All right. I don't want to hear nothing else. Julius Randle was shooting.
We don't want to hear about next player. Talk about your player.
I'm talking about my player right now. He cannot find his feet. When he's not getting adequate touches, he gets moody. He doesn't want to play ball. He doesn't want to play in the team atmosphere. He doesn't put up shots. That's the biggest thing I'm seeing too much of. I've seen too many games where he's shooting less than 10 shots. Way too many games. You are one of the best shooters on this team. You're one of the best shooters in the league. Let that thing fly, but he doesn't want to let it happen. I see too much of what the Timberwolves and what players like Jimmy were talking about. Like, listen, we're right here. This is the moment. And I think low-key, I think a guy like him might be scared. I think a number of guys might be scared. You know who's not scared, though? Jalen Brunson. That's why he called that meeting. And that's why he's trying to get the team going, because he's like, y'all, we're right. Jalen sees what I be seeing. You know what I'm talking about?
Wait though. You said he gets moody when he doesn't get adequate touches, which is not a rare thing for a big man to feel like. Sure. I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm gonna leave that where it is.
No. That's facts. No. That's facts. That's facts.
So throughout all of history, whose job is it to be attuned to that and do what needs to be done to keep their big men engaged?
So here's the thing, right? To answer your
question,
how
many more years is it going to be everyone else's fault but Jalen Brunson? I'm going to just be the reporter and ask the question. How many years is it going to be everyone else's fault but the captain?
See, here's the thing. And this is why, number one, I'm not going to say it's not his fault, because, yes, it is traditionally the point guard's responsibility to go get your big guy involved, right? Here's the problem. Cat will get the ball. And this is why it's so egregious of why he's upset, because Cat will get the ball, and instead of shooting it, he will turn into his point guard, shooting guard self and try to just start dribble, do some nonsense, go to the hoop, do a layup, flop to the ground. You don't see your center do that. You see your center shoot the ball. I'm not hearing this. I'm not hearing that.
I didn't say anything.
Alan,
did I say anything?
No, you didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything.
I've seen Cat throw if he used the same kind of energy that he does to throw himself at the ground, if he took that kind of energy and put it into his defense, we would have no problems. He is always looking for a foul where there is no foul. He's always looking to go cry to the refs. There's too many times I see him like this and not like this. Put your hand up.
Wait, like what he do?
Bro.
We're clipping it. We're clipping it.
Wait.
Alan, jump
That's
in
a
here and
foul!
let's
That's
round
a
this topic off.
foul! No, it's not.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
yeah. So
Yo,
So-
Dre, I'm not gonna lie. If Paul were here, bro, he'd be tearing you up, bro.
he really would. Paul, I don't think Paul like
Talking about that's a foul. It's a foul. No, it's not, brother.
So to me, I think the most important thing that Dre said here is like chemistry issues. For one thing,
That's the most important thing.
Should Mike Brown have dapped up Draymond Green? Let's just talk about it, fellas. Come on, we don't have the time tonight. Y'all are tiptoeing around the tee. We don't have time tonight. Let's get to it. Chemistry problems. Let's go.
No.
Come on, Alan.
When I'm talking about chemistry problems, what I'm trying to say is, so for like the last couple of weeks now, anytime the Knicks speak in the media about their losses and stuff, they always like it's very clear they be like, it's not on the coaches, it's on us as players. This is like comments like that. And then a few games later, they have the players on the meeting. They reiterate that. Even today, Josh Hart had a question in the press. Someone asking him about Cat and like getting the ball to him and playmaking. And I don't know exactly what he said, but he commented Cat, but he complimented Cat. But it could be taken as like kind of like a two-way comment, backhanded compliment. It's very clear to me that all the players seem to be blaming either each other or they're all talking about one person specifically. And now, which I couldn't assume be Cat. And now you couple that with like the reports in the last couple of weeks is that he's not happy with the coaching and how he's being coached and the game plan that's been going in. And on top of that, you compound that with the Draymond Green DAP thing, and Cat and Draymond have had a very public beef. If you're paying attention enough, they don't like each other. They don't like each other.
No, straight up.
Right? So all that puts together, Cat is in this weird spot now where he's now like the center of the spotlight, and now he's being blamed by the fans even now. That's going to mess up a team's chemistry. All that is not going to equal good things. The Knicks historically haven't, in the last couple of seasons at least, they haven't been good against the good teams. When your chemistry's messed up, you're not going to do that. But now they lost their identity. With Tibbs, they used to be a really strong defensive team. They don't have that anymore.
Wait.
Yeah, that was the whole identity. That was their whole identity with Tibbs. Defense.
All right. It was, but
wrong?
I'm not gonna say we lost it. I'm not gonna say we lost it.
No, I think y'all lost it because the team's not known for defense now. I think now the whole thing is their offense, which is why Cat struggling because it's not like an offense so heavily focused on him and Jalen Brunson.
Right.
It's now more of like a perimeter style offense and a team oriented one. But Jalen Brunson still gets his numbers in this offense, but Cat is not. All that is a bad recipe. All that is a very bad recipe for Cat when it comes to like this team chemistry thing that you're talking about. And yeah, Fair might have a point where it's like whose job is it?
I have Cat on my fantasy team, and he was putting up numbers early in the season.
He was putting up. I'm telling you, it's a him
consistently.
Yes, he was dropping 25.
Yeah, he's on my fantasy. He was.
Weird.
Yeah, he was doing his thing for sure.
I'm telling you,
Weird.
we can't.
So what
Something has happened.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So what do y'all think has changed?
Say, hold on. I'll tell you. The streets say it's Josh's thumb's fault.
That's crazy. Are you kidding me?
Ain't no way, boy.
That can't be it. That can't be it.
Wayward thumbs have led to wayward play.
Yeah,
which has led to wayward basketball.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's the crazy take in 2026. But keep going.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I had
We're good. No, we're good. We're good.
Nah, but the Knicks gotta figure it out right now because they're not looking like
or not.
Make it.
No,
we're not. I'm okay.
We will. No.
I just want to reiterate that y'all only wake up to play the Nets.
No, it's not true. That's not true. We just won the cup. We beat many a team. We were the second best team in the East for a long time.
Many a team. Yeah. All right.
Here's the thing.
All right, let's move on. No. You don't get to go back in. No, we're moving on. We're moving on. Alan,
Once the trade deadline is done, we'll see where we are. We'll see where we are, right?
We need to move on. We need to move on. Alan, Kuminga
back here.
Hey, yo. Kuminga escapes. Jimmy Butler goes down. Kuminga somehow still doesn't start, but he does get 20. He does get 21 minutes off the bench and scores 20 points in 21 minutes.
And Steve Kerr was so mad about it. Steve Kerr was furious.
Remember when we had that argument about young players in bad situations?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is why I was so heavy on my side of the argument, because Rob Dillingham can't dare say he's in a bad situation when you look at what is happening with Jonathan Kuminga. Rob Dillingham has never scored 20 points in 21 minutes in the NBA.
Yeah, bro. So the kid is clearly talented. I don't even know what to make of this, because there has to be like something there that the public is not privy to. There has to be something going on in the practices where the coach and staff, I don't think it's just Steve Kerr, thinks he's not doing whatever he needs to do. I don't know is whether he's not specifically falling in line with the game plan. Maybe I don't know. But that kid is way too talented for Steve Kerr not to even want to start him. And then this week I've been hearing reports that they just don't have there's just no relationship there between him and Steve Kerr. On top of that, I feel like by now one of the other players also would, I could be wrong. Tell me if y'all disagree or not. But as loud spoken as Draymond is, and the leader that Steph is, this team has been kind of struggling by their standards for the whole year.
Yeah.
By now, one of them would have spoken up about it if they really thought like he should be there. And that's my personal opinion. Y'all feel free to disagree with that. But that tells me there's more to the story there about whatever he's doing for the team. With that being said, I think he should definitely be traded and get opportunity somewhere else, because he's clearly got a talent. He can score. I don't even mind him coming to the Nets at this point, because 20 points in 20 minutes like that, I think he fits perfectly with us. Being an athletic guy, he can play defense probably, get fast break points very easily. But I don't know why him and Steve Kerr just don't gel, bro. It makes no sense to me.
Can I provide some info update?
Yeah, please do.
So last night, he came off the bench again against the Mavericks. He only played 9 minutes and he had 10 points.
Yes.
And then he hurt his knee and ankle and axed out of the game and went back to the locker room.
Yes, I remember that. I was watching it.
Do we believe that he said proof of concept proven and said, I'm out of here?
Yes. Of course.
You come off 20 points in 21 minutes, and then the next game they still don't start you. And then in your first 9 minutes of the bench, you give them 10 points again. Like, what more do I have to do? I'm scoring more than a point a minute at this rate.
It's such a weird situation. Because did y'all see the comments by the GM, Mike Dunleavy?
Yes, there's no demand.
In what world do you, as a GM, go out there and admit you have no leverage to trade him? That's essentially what he did. Because, what is going on for real? I don't.
Can I tell you my theory? For real? And this will be all I have to say on this topic, because I really want to get to this last one before we have to dip. I think we've seen this with Steve Kerr before. This is not a novel take. DeMarcus Cousins had this take. Some other players have had this take. Steve Kerr has a bias for play style.
Yes.
And his ego will prioritize play style despite talent, regardless of situation.
Agreed.
Now, when you are in a great situation and you're your organization winning championships, you have the leeway and the authority to deny talent based on your own little preferences, right? He got away with it with a couple players during those Warriors championship teams. We don't have to bring them up, but there were definitely guys that could have got a little more minutes on those teams, but didn't. based on probably their play style. D'Angelo Russell was a Warrior at some point. Him and Steph looked like a pretty cool combo for a little bit. They traded him for Andrew Wiggins, right? Andrew Wiggins looked really good when he played a certain way, and then when he played a different way, he got traded. Then you go to the Olympics. Again, Jason Tatum, for all you can say of him not shooting well, Jason Tatum has a certain kind of play style, and he got away with it because you had enough talent on the Olympic roster regardless to win.
Right.
The problem here, and my biggest example, our talk that we had about Kevin Durant and how Kevin Durant leaving was ultimately because there were things about his play style that Steve Kerr didn't like that they clashed about all 4 years. But Kevin Durant, the one outlier of all these examples, had the cachet that you can't sit Kevin Durant.
Right.
You can't. You'll get fired. In every other scenario, I mean, and Jason Tatum, honestly, if they hadn't won that gold medal, we would have heard a lot more about the fact that Steve Kerr didn't play Jason Tatum. He's coming off a chip.
Yeah.
He's been an Eastern Conference MVP before. He's an all-star, cover of NBA 2K, top of the world. And you don't play him that summer. But he got away with it. He's in a situation now where he has a player with talent. He doesn't like the play style. The issue is his situation and context does not grant him enough leeway to deny this talent. His team is not good enough to keep a player of that level of talent from playing based on play style preferences. You are so desperately in need of some offensive punch to help Steph. You are so desperately in need of rebounding, size, length, and athleticism that no matter, even if you hate the way he plays, his production is so needed in your current situation. It is ludicrous and arguably an abdication of responsibility for him to not play. But because the owners are behind him, he gets to do this. And it's ridiculous. That's my theory. That because he simply does not like his play style, he won't play this man.
I don't think that's a wayward theory at all. I think that's pretty on the nose. I think it's also pretty obvious. I mean, the Warriors have created a dynasty playing a certain way. And Steve Kerr's career, he made a career playing a certain kind of way as well. So if you're not fitting into that mold, because in his mind, he's thinking, I won chips with Jordan playing this way. I won chips with Steph Curry playing this way. Who are you?
Greg Popovich, too. We forget about his Spurs chips.
Greg Popovich, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I won chips this way with Greg Popovich. I think I know a thing or two about winning. And I think this is how you get it done.
Can I ask a question, though?
Sure.
Is it ego or is it I've only coached this way and in this style my entire coaching career?
And played that.
Is it secretly, and he'll never admit this to himself,
ignorance?
He doesn't know how to coach a player like Kuminga.
He doesn't.
Oh, that's a good point.
He has no idea what to do with him.
That's why I'm so glad LeBron never went to the Warriors. Steve Kerr would get fired if LeBron went to the Warriors.
Steve Kerr has no idea what to do with a player like Jonathan Kuminga. The same way he had no idea what to do with Jonathan Wiseman.
Yeah. Like, to your point, because now I'm thinking about his basketball life in totality. The only thing he knows is successful systems, not necessarily successful. I mean, he's obviously dealt with successful players, but they've been super successful in systems. You got the Chicago Bulls, like you talked about. You got the Spurs that he was part of. Even after his playing career, when he was a GM with Phoenix, the Mike D'Antoni system is what was implemented, and he saw a lot of success with that. Fast forward to him coaching, this system won him 4 chips. So that's a really good point, Pharaoh. It may not just be ego. He don't know nothing else. So now you've got this unique situation where you get this talented players, because just like you said, Wiseman, you don't know what to do with them. That's a really good point. He just don't know what to do. He has
no idea what to do with Kuminga. And then I think the fact that Kuminga is successful without his influence, I think it scares him for his ability to orchestrate. And I think he feels, and I think the one part of it that is ego is he feels like if he's not tapped in, they're not at full strength.
Correct.
He does not believe that this team can win long term freestyling and on their own. And so he's like, no matter how talented you are, I don't know how to use you and orchestrate you. And if I can't be the puppet master on the floor, we can't win.
Yeah, man. I'm really interested in seeing where the situation goes.
Jordan Poole, for what it's worth, a lot of people say the punch is why they traded him. He had these exact same issues with Jordan Poole that last season too. Yeah. And he got lucky that Draymond punched him and was used as the scapegoat for why Jordan Poole got traded. But he had these exact same issues with Jordan Poole too.
Give him an out.
Jordan Poole was in the doghouse for much of that last season when he was in the Warriors. For why? Shot selection. Despite Jordan Poole playing the same exact way when he won a chip for you and you paid him all that money. His play style did not change.
Let's see if he comes back next year because his contract is up this year. Let's see if he comes back.
I think he's low-key done. I think he might retire.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a bad way to retire, I'm not going to lie.
His mentors did it. Phil Jackson said, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it wasn't because he didn't win. Phil Jackson retired off a chip.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
He's like, I got 6 of these. I'm good until another player like this comes along. Maybe then.
We ain't seen him since in the coaching rank, at least.
Well, no. Then he came back for the Lakers, won another 5, and was like, I'm done.
I thought that's what you meant. The Lakers.
No. He didn't retire for a chip with the Lakers. The Lakers, his last season, didn't win. But they were in the playoffs, but they didn't win. But with the Bulls, they won in 96 and he dipped.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
I can see Steve Kerr politely dip. I think Steve Kerr is hanging on as long as Steph hangs on. I think he's doing a reverse Phil. Mike stayed as long as Phil stayed. When Phil dipped, Mike dipped and retired. I think Steve Kerr is literally only here because he's like, no one else. Steph should never have to deal with anyone else.
Yeah.
He's right.
I think the day Steph Curry hangs it up, Steve Kerr says, yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah.
I think he's sick of Draymond.
Oh, he's been sick of Draymond.
I think he's sick. I think he's sick of the media and the expectation. I mean, he trashes his team. He said we're a fading dynasty, just trying to hang on and stay relevant. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like someone who's at their job for 29 years, who's waiting for that last year to go so their pension vest. Yeah, their pension vests, but they tucking they itch the whole time.
Shit.
Tell me not. That's what it feels
fact.
like.
That's a fact.
It feels like he's hanging on just to be there for Steph.
That's a fact. He's waiting for that pension for sure. I like that honesty, though.
All right, let's get into it. It's time.
We got to be quick on this one.
Then y'all be quick and then let me do what I got to do.
That's fine. Fire his ass. You're up.
What are we talking about?
What? Fire who?
Fire LeBron. Time to get rid of him.
Fire LeBron's favorite.
Say more. I'm confused.
No, I'm playing.
First of all, do y'all catch the bars in this banner, by the way?
Put it back up. I ain't see it.
We saw.
Where else you gonna find that, folks? Fastbreaks.
Yeah.
Where else you gonna find it? Come on now. So you want to give the lay of the land? I'll actually give my take.
All right. So a couple days ago, ESPN put on their main page an article by Baxter Holmes titled "How Bus Family Infighting Drove the $10 Billion Sale to the Lakers." In summary, it describes the different interdynamics of the Bus family with Jeannie and the brothers. It paints Jeannie as an agitator and egocentric person despite her public persona, and said that her faltering in her relationship with her siblings led to discord amongst the organization, which ultimately resulted in the sale of the team as her final power move. like her final power move to smite them all and to get them off her back basically was, I'm going to sell the team and all you all are gone because they've all been fired now, but she gets to remain on as governor even though there's new ownership with Mark Walters, who everyone forgets was a minority owner of the Lakers already for a long time. He just bought up to become the majority owner. They throw in there for spice. This is important context that people that didn't read the article should know. Despite the headlines, the whole LeBron angle was literally tossed in for a short portion for spice, but that little portion does indicate reporting that Jeannie Buss has been holding some resentment against LeBron and Clutch for the various things that we've heard a lot about over the years, the Russ trade, his air of confidence and influence, yada, yada, yada. Key things I want to tell y'all that you may or may not have saw before you go. The article says that all the Buss family members declined to comment, but the article begins with reporting on text messages that were on one of the younger Buss brothers' phones and a phone call conversation between the two younger brothers. But all the Buss family members declined to comment. Now, she has come out since the article has passed and basically completely poo-pooed it, and also adding that she regrets that her family fighting has now affects him, but has maintained she has always held respect for LeBron and their relationship is fine. LeBron, y'all all saw his comments, I'm sure, the other night where he said, "I don't care." What do y'all make of this?
I mean, I think it's pretty irrelevant at this point. The Lakers aren't going anywhere, so they need some juice to keep
Man, this isn't about the team, man. Tell me about the art. Come on. You salty because your Knicks lost 9-12. Meanwhile, we just got two of the most clutch wins you ever seen. But neither here or there. Let's go.
What clutch wins? I just saw you lose.
Neither here or there.
What are you talking about?
But did you see how we beat Denver?
I don't give a damn. Isn't Jokic out?
Man, we talking about the article, man.
Anyway, all right. I don't know a whole lot about the situation. Even with the article, I'm not paying attention to everything that's going on with the Lakers organization.
Out in NBA news this week, but carry on.
I mean, sure.
The main article posted on ESPN's front page, not the NBA page, ESPN's front page.
No, I get it. I understand. Listen, I don't know. Here's my question, right? Like, what does it matter at this point? We're talking about stuff, allegations that happened in 2023. It's 2026 now, right? And like, if she has infighting with the family, I'm not surprised. It seemed that if accurate, I wouldn't be surprised at all. It worked out for her. I don't know, what impact this has necessarily going forward with the team. I don't think, is she planning on running the team forever? Probably not. She was eventually going to have to sell anyway. So I mean,
I know that you don't. Again, you and Paul, you kind of with me. So this is a surprise. So you view NBA organizations in the same way I do in terms of like you're buying into an ownership group when you support a team and a representation. This is it's not even debatable, the most notable and historic ownership group in NBA history.
Yeah, of course.
It's been the only and longest, not the only, but the longest standing family-run NBA franchise in NBA history. And you don't find anything interesting about this is where the state of this is and how that turned into the sale of the Los Angeles Lakers.
I didn't say I don't find it interesting. I just said I don't find it surprising. And again, if this article came out like a few days later, I'd be a little bit more shocked and awe. But like, the team's already sold. Was she going to unsell it now because this article came out? Like, what's the next step here?
No. I feel you, Andre, because this is like, I understand what you're saying, Farrell. That's a very Lakers fan perspective,
right?
Is it?
Everyone outside, because everyone on the outside of the Lakers, like Jeannie Buss is still the governor, like we said, right? They're under new ownership, but she's still the governor. For outside of Lakers fandom, nothing has really changed for us. So like, I understand why you care about that. To the rest of the world, you trying to put it as like they add this in there for spice, and which
Well,
they did.
well, let me
They-
contextualize it a little more. The way that LeBron and Rich Paul and Clutch are tied into this has long-term ramifications, does it not? Because not just for LeBron as a player with his future with the team, but from the standpoint of LeBron and his Clutch and Rich Paul and their aspirations to be an owner of a team in the future, and the way that the shift of ownership is happening in the league in general, you don't think that what may have happened here and how it results in the movement of a franchise and how LeBron interplays? Because again, to become an owner of a team in a league, the ownership group has to welcome you in.
Yeah, well,
You have to be approved.
So,
the sale has to be approved by the league, which is voted on by the existing owners. You don't see anything that potentially comes out of this?
no, I see your point, but no, because there's 29 other people that I don't think would vote, or if they do vote LeBron out, it'd be for other reasons. But I don't think that's going to stop. I don't think Jeannie Buss's potential beef with them is going to stop his ownership. I think LeBron does have. I think this might be larger issues with LeBron in the league per se.
Yeah,
that is
right.
that
Maybe
is
it's not the sole
there
reason,
too.
but do you think this adds to it? Because this is probably not the only ownership. Matter of fact, we know for a fact this is not, if it's true, this is not the only ownership group LeBron has hit a rough patch with.
No.
Dan Gilbert, we know, is going to vote no.
Yeah. Well, I don't know because
Harrison-
he came back. He came back, so I don't know if Dan
brother,
Gilbert's still going to go.
Brother.
He came back. He came back, and I did.
LeBron has been on record that even though he came back and when they won the championship, he said during that time and today, I maintain no relationship with Dan Gilbert. I did that for the city
I'll
of
take the
Cleveland.
word for it, but I don't know. But
And
weird.
then the Harrison brothers, I mean, between Harrison brothers and Pat Riley, we have heard reports that his departure from Miami was not smooth.
Yes, that's true, but that might have more to do with like Pat Riley than the owners, and I don't know
Who seem to be
outside
locked in.
lockstep. I don't know, but I was gonna say like that's the part we really care about, the LeBron stuff, which you said was spice. That's the part of this we do care about, and that is an interesting angle about his future owner aspirations. Which again, I don't know if that's gonna come to fruition or not.
What about the Rich Paul side of it? Not to cut you off, because this plays into
What
like
about it?
the persona that Rich Paul has been building for himself the last few weeks, the controversy around his comments. He now gets thrown into this. They don't like the way they do business. We talked about how Rich Paul might be alienating himself from franchises as an agent. Like, do we see momentum? I think Josh said it. He said the fact that this story happened the same week with the Rich Paul comments. Is there a long-term cascading snowball effect of this stuff that might affect the way these men do business with this league moving forward?
I don't know because this is how they've always done business. LeBron and Rich Paul have been doing this for years now. So I don't know if that's going to affect them long term.
Do you think people are piping up because they're finally sick of it?
Yes, because that was going to be my overarching part, my overall arching point. It feels like the league overall is coming to a point now where they are kind of tired of this. Not just the Lakers, but the league in general is kind of tired of LeBron throwing his power around. For LeBron and Rich, honestly, throwing his power around. And it's becoming pretty visible now. I don't think they have as much influence as they had once upon a time. And to me, that those quotes in the article are important because that's very indicative of that point. When LeBron comes to a franchise, he gets his way pretty fast. But we see with the Lakers now, that's coming to a slow stop. And it all starts with Luka Doncic coming there. Once Luka came and they made him a franchise player, you can see where LeBron's influence is starting to drop off. I don't think he had a real say-so in that Luka trade. You know what I mean? You can tell me if you disagree. You're the Lakers fan. I don't think he had a real say-so in that Lakers trade. And I don't think he's had a real say-so about things since.
I don't think so either.
So that's why I think that's why those quotes were real important to me. And I know you said that there's
not quotes. This is reporting. Because
okay.
everyone reported on declined to comment. So, which is two-faced in itself.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Right.
So that's very indicative of LeBron's situation right now. And if I don't know what he's going to do in his position now. You bring up an interesting point about his future ownership aspirations. I think overall that was going to be kind of hard to do in the first place because it seems like I said, him in the league may not be in the best place right now. I know him and Rich Paul are going to start that Europe league, and the league and the NBA kind of stepped on that with the NBA Europe thing that's going on. There's a lot of moving doors here.
Right.
So he just doesn't have the same power that he once had. Even with the All-Star game, him not being a starter, despite the votes, I think we would have saw, the league just make it up a little bit because we don't know what really goes on in voting.
Mm-hmm.
I never imagined a world where I see LeBron not as an NBA starter in an All-Star game. It's really, really, really indicative of his power fading.
Well, I mean, the starters are 50% fan vote, so that may speak to popularity around the league as well.
That's part of it too.
That the fans don't want that moment. The fans don't want to have him in as a starter but to be fair, I mean, with his fans, he's done nothing but shit on the All-Star game for some time now.
That's a fact. I don't want him in there.
Maybe fans think they're doing him a favor by sparing him. Let me give you another angle at this, right? It's kind of in the same pocket, but another one, right? What about how this intersects with the league-wide dynamics of how superstar players are regarded and treated? Let me explain that. The Lakers are notoriously a superstar catering franchise, as opposed to some other ones, right? Historically, if you look at it, the Lakers roll out the red carpet for their stars. Their stars, even though LeBron has been someone to get his way everywhere, but the reason why the marriage seemed to make a lot of sense, and you remember like Magic Johnson, LeBron staying together, everyone was like, "Oh, word," because the Lakers have always kind of done that for their superstars. So for there to be reports coming out about Laker pushback and resentment towards their star, when they now have Luka, who is one of the biggest stars moving forward, who himself is a representation of the changing of the guard in superstar treatment, being a superstar MVP candidate who was traded before his prime.
Mm-hmm.
Do you KD getting traded and, in his words, scapegoated last season? Do we see? Is this another smoke signal of a changing of feeling back to, again, a conversation we have all the time about pushback against the player empowerment movement? The Clippers, what they did to Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Warriors and Clay.
Yeah.
Is there something there, or am I reaching?
No, you're right. I think there is something there for sure. We talk about it all the time. There's something there for sure. I think it's the owners and maybe the front offices putting the players on notice that we're no longer sacrificing the franchise for the player, because that's what's been happening in the player empowerment movement. You're kind of not just mortgaging your future. You've been sacrificing your future for the sake of these players, and they're kind of turning away from that. They're not doing that.
Or they don't get it done.
Wait, what do you mean?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying the players are like.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. It's like you're right about that. They're no longer doing it, but they're no longer sacrificing their future for these players, because players are not going out there and winning a whole bunch of championships for them. So now the owners and everything do not even see the point in doing that. One, they're not getting the championships. Two, it's just too much power. You can't come into a place and turn my thing upside down. It's partly an ego thing. Look at the Clippers. The Clippers kind of kowtowed to Kawhi Leonard, and look at their franchise now. He kind of has ruined their franchise for the next foreseeable future.
Bringing them legal troubles.
Legal troubles, bro. because you and your uncle wanted me to buy you a plane or whatever the hell y'all wanted.
Right.
I wanted everything. Like, look at this. Like the owners are not doing this anymore. And maybe they shouldn't. Maybe the player empowerment thing took it a step too far. And I'm a big fan of player empowerment. Obviously I'm not really on the side of billionaires. Trust me, Fastbreak family. I'm not the guy to defend billionaires.
Right.
But it comes to a point where like you maybe have taken this thing too far, and now the repercussions will come back at you tenfold. So yeah, man, I don't know. So yeah, I think I agree with your point. Like it's indicative of everything that you just said.
That was the thing that more interested me, was more of the moment of this article and the timing of the article in the course of, I follow narrative, and I'm looking at the NBA, and we're at that like weird part of the season, not the dog days, because those are like in March, right before the playoffs, but it's sort of that pre-All-Star break lull. Like the excitement at the beginning of the season and stats is kind of gone. Teams are starting to clarify themselves. Trade talks are heating up, but not like there yet. Like February is when we really start getting like trade hype. And it's like, all right, in this low period, what is the narrative and the stories coming out in the NBA? Now, of course, I'm focused on the Lakers stuff, so I see the Rich Paul stuff and this article primarily. But all of it coming out are sort of franchises taking their power back stories. When you look at Atlanta and Trae Young, when you look at Memphis and Ja
Morant,
like all the sort of big narratives not related to on-court or trades are these kind of stories where like teams and their star players like don't get along, or there's a Kuminga and the Warriors, like
even Giannis,
even Giannis
in a weird way.
In a weird way, they're shelving it, but he kind of is letting it slip every time he gets in a microphone.
Yeah.
Like, so we're kind of seeing that's like the dominant sort of subplot of the league this year is like disconnect. And I think it's so funny. I won't go down the rabbit hole, but like the juxtaposition of the fact that the CBA and the WNBA is up and they're in an intense labor dispute right now.
Yes. Do you think? So, do you think this must be we're about to see like an overcorrection? Now that I'm thinking about it,
I don't know. I think we're doing our jobs by paying attention and keep bringing attention to this.
Yeah,
that's why I want to talk
about is the NBA to be like the NFL. I don't want it to be that bad.
Right. I don't think it could ever do that, because individual players make up too much of the market share and revenue. Yeah. Right. There's only 3 players in the NFL that have that kind of leverage based on the dollars they individually bring in. Every team for their arena, most I would say like 26 out of the 30 teams have one player who, if their agent did the math, I'm way too important to the revenue you make in this arena every night for you to have that level of leverage on me, let alone the top of the top crop. Right. And we're talking about every guy with a max. Right.
It's a fact.
But in the same breath, I think we're seeing that when it's not paired with winning, I think the teams are, what's interesting? The fact that I think the net worth of owners in the NBA has gone up. Like the owners, we know that's another part of this. Like in the sale aspect of it, that's not being talked about. Like think about the fact that the Lakers are going from a family-run business of relative wealth that seemingly put up with this stuff because we know the Lakers was an important thing for them, to a guy who can throw $10 billion to buy a team and not blink, who already owns another $1 billion friend. Like the perspectives that are now coming into ownership into the league.
Yeah.
Revenue arguments may not be as much leverage as it used to be. Yeah. Right? Memphis in their new ownership, because they're relatively new as well. Same in Portland, right? Like there's a new way, Dallas, there's a new wave of ownership group where like clearly the Dallas owner did not care enough about how many jerseys Luka sells and how many seats Luka sells in his decision-making. right? Like that wasn't enough to leverage him to find that move idiotic. On court basketball reasons, however wrong they may have been, was enough for that owner to sign off on that. So maybe the calculus has changed to where revenue arguments, I think, teams are still revenue driven at the ownership level. But I think now in closing the gap between the NBA and NFL, while individuals still have way more leverage than NFL players, I think what they can ask for on the back end may have decreased. Like, hey, we'll pay you commensurate with the amount of salary and market share you're responsible for. But all this extra stuff, like you having say and you being able to act however you want to act and represent our brand however you want to act, those days are done because we make enough money that like we're good on that. like we'll sign a contract and pay you a salary that reflects it, but that's no longer going to determine whether we keep you around here or not.
So it's interesting because it's not even just like on-court thing to me. And like you said, it's not just no more longer about revenue because it can't be about on-court, right? Because you trade Trae Young, you're considerably worse if you're not getting talent back from him. You trade Luka Doncic, you are considerably worse if you're not getting the same amount of talent back from him. And like you said, it's not about the revenue. It must strictly be about the power. And that is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I think that is so interesting that we're seeing this.
We can get out of here on that. Way. The last thing I'll say is I made a point of not presenting my fan reflections on this because I wanted to prove a point that there was a lot more here to discuss than just the fan aspect. My brief notes on the fan aspect of this, for those of y'all that aren't Laker fans, let me tell you something. All the drama that was in that article, we've known about that from the 2 years ago that they happened, from the 6 years ago that those things happened, and from the 15 and 20 years ago that those things that happened. All this family history, if you're a Laker fan, you knew this. It wasn't hidden. It was very transparent. Jeannie has spoken about it. There have been 3 Hulu shows about it. There was a Lakers documentary that detailed this, and then there were 2 fictional shows, dramatized shows, Showtime on HBO, and then I forget what it was called. There was another one on Hulu, but Jeannie Buss was an executive producer on that show, and it loosely followed the story of the family and all that kind of stuff. So none of that is like jaw dropping or oh my god, right? And I think from the point I always make about like how I'm a fan of the Busses and whatnot, I think if any, I don't believe half of these sentiments that they attribute to Jeannie, but I think in the way they're trying to paint the sale of a team as this vindictive final blow by Jeannie against her siblings. Sure, you could think about it that way. I could think about it as actually the ultimate affirmation that Dr. Buss made the right choice. Because you could think about it this way. The family drama was the family drama already. If you know the history, it dates back to before Jeannie was even the running the team. When Dust Buss was still alive, Jeannie and her siblings had issues, right? Mm-hmm. If you know that, if Jeannie senses at a certain point that our infighting is gonna affect the running of this team, wouldn't it actually be the most responsible and service to the franchise and fans thing to do? Let me remove my family from this dynamic and structure.
Yes, that's one way to look at it.
It's cold-hearted, but couldn't you view that as an act of mercy for us?
Yeah.
And the fact that they're now painting it, I think is very sexist, but the fact that they're now painting it as this emotional, retributive decision, I think is sexist and biased and bigoted.
Sexist, very sexist, yeah.
Right? But I think if you're a real fan, I think that's she's still going to be the governor for some while, but if she ever does retire, I think that reason alone is the biggest salute. And she sold it to the most successful owner in the other league, in the MLB. Because the Dodgers are kicking ass, unfortunately, but they are. So, like, not only did she remove her family drama from the team, she sold it to the guy who's in the same city already, kicking ass. That's the way I look at this article. Is like, great that you all now know this stuff. That doesn't move us at all. Half of the dynamic stuff that y'all are pulling up about her and LeBron, I don't believe it. And this spin on the move that you're trying to make, I think is ill painted and quite honestly, I question the motivations of it. And again, the fact that it was on the main page of ESPN, I look kind of sideways at it. But that's all I got on that. Thanks for hanging in with me there and engaging all those different angles. I think it was super interesting, and we'll continue to play out and see what the next franchise is or next article is where a star or a talented player in their franchise are butting heads, because that seems to be the theme of NBA 2025-26. Like,
it's getting crazy out here.
All right, brother. Light it up. We out. Catch y'all tomorrow on the stream, 2K, about 11 a.m. Deuces.
Yes, sir. Fast breaks. Peace.
Fast breaks, yeah, we coming with the takes. Never early, never late, but we always push the pace, yeah. And we really study tape, y'all just view the highlights. Man, we really watching games, yeah. You just watch from the stands. We run 3-man weeks, Paul, Dre, and Allen, yeah. Way more than a fan. We got love for the game. We don't have to pretend. Got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. I'm to run the fast break. Throw me the outlet. Yeah, we got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. Time to run the fast break. Throw me the outlet.